everybody. Welcome back to the Everyday Night. I'm Joe.
And I'm Jeff.
And Jeff. um, we're coming up on a significant date for you.
Are we, for me? Oh yeah. Well, in fact, the date has already passed.
Oh, well, then forget about it. Thank you
Okay, never
all.
mind. Thanks
Thank
for
you. Never
coming.
mind. Thanks. And so we'll talk about that. And I thought it prompted me to think that talking about milestones in life and history would be an interesting and useful topic, particularly because this is also our 150th episode.
Yeah, very significant. I
Yes.
can't believe we've continued this long.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And when each episode runs like 8, 9 hours, that's a long time.
Yeah,
But we always stay completely on point, no digressions at all. Um,
yeah, absolutely. Like it's surgical.
yeah,
We're so
exactly.
focused on
Very
our subject matter.
precise, focused. So, pray tell, before we begin, what dost thou imbibe this evening?
Oh, I imbibest.
Imbibeth.
Imbibeth? Imbibeth, yes. Thou imbibest. I imbibeth.
Yeah.
Um, but I've just got some. Um, the brand is called Duke and Dame.
Oh,
It
okay.
is a salted caramel flavored whiskey. Just a nice flavored sipping drink. It's just straight on the rocks.
Okay.
Very no frills, but a little bit of extra flavor. So what have you decided was going to mark your evening with? Ooh,
Well,
a very
I'm
pink cocktail.
it is, but I started with a sidecar, which is
Okay.
usually cognac, but I decided to substitute bourbon for it,
Oh,
and the
all right.
result was kind of flat. So I added cranberry bitters to it,
Okay.
which perked it up a bit.
All right.
So I think I think orange bitters would have been better given the Cointreau that's already in it, but it's okay.
All
So,
right.
well,
Not you're not gonna it's not gonna mark a new cocktail for you of
not quite
no,
yet. No,
no.
it's
All
not
right.
not quite there yet.
All
Yeah.
right.
Um, so let's begin with your milestone.
Ah, well, this particular milestone, February 1st, marks my the 40th anniversary of my being inducted into the Order of Chivalry in our Society for Creative Anachronism. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I know you celebrated yours just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, April will be the 43rd for me.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. So, and not that's a long fighting career for anybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I thought I would mark it by issuing a challenge, mostly to myself, of 3 passes with 40 opponents. In fact, on Valentine's Day. This probably won't be published until after that date, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I've I've got a little board, and I'm going to have people write their names on it and record how far they traveled, um, how many years they've been fighting, and the wins and losses in that 3 pass challenge.
I think that's good. You do that, something like that pretty much every year, but this is, I think,
Well,
significant.
yeah, on my birthday in June,
Mm,
issue a challenge to anyone who was 3 passes, best 2 out of 3 passes to anyone who was born after my first coronation as king, which was 1990. So
okay.
it started out with the anniversary of my knighting, and then my first coronation, and I'm not sure if I can. The object was to invite younger
Yeah.
fighters to come and fight me. Well, now the younger fight, it's 30, that's a 35-year-old dude who's coming to fight me now. I
Yeah.
can't think of any other significant date that I can make them younger again. So I'm I'm just kind of stuck now.
Since the date since you bought that shirt. Oh no, that's probably
Right.
older than that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, for mine, 40th, I bought myself a sword. I bought
Huh.
myself the sword that I had always wanted, um, engraved with a motto and an emblem I had designed, and with stones placed in the hilt, and
Hmm.
so. Um,
So where did you commission a custom blade like that?
I actually ordered it. It was a place called Valiant Armory. I
Oh, I
looked
think
at
I've heard of it.
I looked at a lot of the really good armorers, and this was one of their. It's an Oakshot Type 18, and it's one of the. I chose them. It matched the spec. I mean, the specs of the high end. They're not the highest end maker, but
Okay.
the specs of the quality makers are all very similar. I chose them because the dimensions of the blade were most similar to the dimensions of the rattan I've
Oh,
been using for 40
okay.
plus years. And whereas some of the others, based on other historical examples, were longer or heavier, or it matched what I knew would feel comfortable, and it does. It
Oh,
absolutely feels right. So,
great.
so
It's an
that's what I
interesting
did.
idea.
Yeah. So that's what I decided to match to go after. I have a list of. I collect a lot of information about really good uh, sword makers, and there are a lot. There are some really good ones out there.
And we're always looking for sponsors too. Just
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, the So there, I think that's a significant. We have often said that we mark dates sometimes in our in the SCA. We remember dates by reigns or by significant events, and I think that has always been true of rituals and annual events, and for a lot of people, church dates or births or weddings or that sort of
Mhm.
thing. And so I think there's certainly milestones in life that everybody remembers when they got their driver's license. You remember
Sure.
your graduation. You remember getting married. You remember there's significant things that you remember. I think there are significant other milestones. I'm not sure call them milestones. Well, they are. They're historical milestones, but the where were you when you heard
Ah,
about this thing happening? And I think that those for often for good, like the moon landing, or for ill, like a lot of other historical events, people remember exactly where they were. And I
hmm.
thought about this because we just passed the anniversary of the Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964.
Okay, okay.
And I remember that. I remember watching that. I remember my sister getting so excited, um, as only a teenage girl could for the Beatles. And my father saying, "If you don't calm down, I'm going to pour a glass of water on your head." And she didn't calm down, and he did. So,
Man of his word.
yep, yep, exactly. Um, so I think there are certainly some other things. I just, in on social media, you get reminders of on this day, this thing happened, memories.
Right.
And so just in the past few days, past week, 11 years ago, I posted online a graphic resume I designed. I designed a graphic version of my resume because I thought it would be a clearer way to represent the diverse
Yeah.
paths of my career. And a colleague who's a professor in Oregon who I'd met at several conferences said, "This is really cool. You should write a book." And I said, I've been I was talking to a publisher, but he wanted me to write his book. He didn't want to publish
Oh.
mine. She said, "Oh, I'll introduce you to my publisher." And she did. And so that was about 11 years ago. About 8 years ago, I got my first ever royalty check from my first book,
Ah.
um, which was another milestone. I deposited that, it was $9. I deposited that with an electronic deposit, so I could keep the check, and it's framed on my wall.
Okay.
So milestones like that. And then, you know, the next book, and then I'm working on my third book now. So things like that. I think there are also, I was also thinking about this because we are, as a country, approaching the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States.
Or
And
at least of the
the
declaration of the.
declaration of the Declaration. Yeah. Yes. And um, we did an episode on the empire cycle,
Right.
and it follows, there's empires tend to follow a certain pattern. And it's been one theory, or one commonly held idea, is that empires last about 250 years. There's certainly other examples of shorter and some of much longer, like the Roman Empire and so on, which is like 900 years something, um, and others that are much shorter. But that's a significant milestone. Milestones used to be markers on we refer to them now on highways as mile markers because they're not
Right.
stones, but they're
Right.
just mile markers. Um,
But the Romans, that goes back to the Romans,
yeah,
marking a mile on a road with a stone, a
yeah,
carved stone, to let troops know where they were and how far they were from their destinations and so on.
exactly. So, um, maybe I don't think it's nostalgia. I think it's thoughtfulness. The mood I'm in, seeing memories and thinking ahead to dates of significance. So, I I was looking at a diagram of, or a article about life milestones in the European Union,
Hmm.
and it was interesting because they have women and men, and start of compulsory education, 6 years, start of first employment. For men, it said 22 years. For women, it said 23. Leaving the parental home, for women, it said 25.1 years of
Average.
age. For men, 27.1 years leaving the
Wow.
parental home. And for women, birth of first child, 28.9 years. It doesn't say for men.
Hmm.
Retirement age, women is listed as 58.8 years, and for men, 59.4 years
This is in the EU.
in the EU.
Huh.
And I thought this was very interesting because people in the US have less vacation time,
Right. They
don't
start they
retire.
start earlier in the workforce,
Well,
typically.
yeah, my first employer, I mean, I had summer jobs when I was in high school and college.
Right.
Well, high
But
school,
you
I was usually going to summer school to get additional credits. And but every college at college, I was always working summers.
Right.
So
I'm not saying you started a career, but you
yeah,
entered, we enter
first
the
employment, yeah,
workforce. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and life expectancy, it says for men 77.9 and for women 83.3. So I thought it was interesting that the those milestones, those are significant milestones.
Hmm.
When did you get your first driver's license? When did you most people remember their first job, what that was. Um, and uh, um,
Well, I think, but I wanted to look closer at these dates you were bringing up for the European Union. Like I said, they're on average starting in the workforce later
yeah,
and retiring from the workforce earlier
yes,
than we are, and
yeah,
they have a longer life expectancy.
yeah, and more
Hmm.
vacation.
And tons more vacation.
Yeah,
But it's interesting that they're not leaving the home, although we are reaching that average now too.
yes, yeah,
25 and 26, I think, is the average now for
yeah.
in this country, where it used to be 20, 21. We were,
Well, often I think if for people who went to college, they'd
well,
go to
okay.
college and then right after college they'd get an apartment, they'd have an apartment already and they'd start working and um yeah, that's not always the case now. So, employment being more difficult. If you looked at the dismal new job creation stats from
Yeah.
last year, um, um, so I think the people remember holidays and celebrations and weddings and funerals and things like that. And having been to a fair share of funerals um, within the past couple of years. One of the most common things I hear is, "It's nice to see you. I wish it was under other circumstances. We should really find a time to get together."
Yeah.
And so one of the things I've been doing is reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, you know, I'm going to be in the area. Why don't we have you got time? Let's get together for lunch. Let's get coffee or something." Because I don't want the only times we see each other to be at a funeral. Um,
Yeah. I've utterly lost any contact with people from high school and college that I didn't meet as part of our SCA
mhm.
organization. And I've lost some contact with many of them from those early college days just because they have dropped out and disappeared. Um, my social circle has pretty much contracted to people I see at these SCA events, and when they start dying, it's going to be sad.
Yeah, I think, well, you can start recruiting new members at the retirement home then.
What retirement home? I'm not gonna. I'm going to work till I die.
Yeah, well, um, yeah. The, yeah, go ahead.
Well, uh, I'm just saying that I'm at the age. I'm reaching the age now where I'm the oldest amongst my circle of friends these days. Um, I mean, you're self-accepted, of course, but we've
Yeah,
known each other the whole time I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Well, 40, going on 46 years, I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And that's when I was a freshman. Well, I don't think we met until 82 or so.
Well, I think it was at the first event that we had, the first tournament we held in our group, I think,
Yeah.
that you came out for, and I don't remember what year. That wasn't 80, I think. We tried to have
Wasn't
it.
80.
No, we tried to have an event that year and it got rained out. Then we had an event next year and it fell down and we
Well,
um
the event you're referring to, I remember,
yeah.
was there was an ice storm, and everybody, th- I won the tournament, the
Yep.
first tournament. That
Yep.
was the first tournament I ever won.
Yeah.
And because there was only 8 people in it when it was supposed to start,
Yeah.
so then they had another tournament at about 11:30 after people finally showed up after driving through the ice, and then somebody else won the other tourney.
Yeah.
So, um,
So 40, what,
but I
44,
want to say that
45
was,
years. Yeah.
yeah, if that was 80, maybe the end of 81, that winter, the winter of 81. So,
Yeah.
but it might
Something
have
like
been
that.
January, so it might have been 82.
Yeah. I don't, it was a long time ago. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but, yeah, I've reached out to, I mean, it's one of the positive things about social media for all its negatives is that I've been able to reconnect with a lot of people.
Hmm.
Um, One of the other things, and I've mentioned this before, is there's a challenge in making new friends as you get older, as
Yeah.
you're saying. And one of the things that has happened for me as a consequence of the research and writing and interviewing for my last book was making a lot of new acquaintances and new friends. And so if we're going somewhere to a town where somebody is, I reach out and I say, "Hey, we're going to be in town. How about we get together and have coffee or drinks or something?" And I've been doing that and it's been terrific.
Yeah.
It's been really good. And so I think that um April will be um like 2 years since the big 50th reunion event at which I presented the history, and then the book was published later that fall. So it's I it seems I think my point about milestones is that it seems like every day marks something.
Hmm.
Every day is a reminder of something that has happened that was significant that I remember personally or for people I care about or historically. There's something, it seems like it's every day.
Well, and your reasons for going back to your college and stuff. Part of that, I think that has failed me, is that I graduated the class of 1980 in high school, and it was
Mhm.
the class of apathetic 80. We knew it then. We had one 10-year class reunion, and that was it. So
Well,
I haven't seen or heard from any of them. There's been no excuse or reason to get back together with any of them.
yeah,
So, and they've all moved away. None of them live where we all went to high school. None of them.
yeah,
They've all gone somewhere else in the country.
yeah,
Not too surprisingly, given where I grew up, but um, so it's hard. But our SCA organization has given me a breadth of acquaintance. We've talked about this before.
yeah,
All over the Midwest, I can go almost any state in the Midwest and know somebody within an hour or two.
yeah. And as we have moved, because we've lived in different states, it was hey, we're here, this is who we are and what we've done. And it's like, oh, welcome, great. And almost immediately, I mean, well, really immediately, it was like, that's terrific. Here's our
Yeah,
meetings. Here's what we do. Here are practices, events, and stuff. And it's because there's a group of people with a common
right.
interest
Yeah.
and a
And I
common
think
frame of reference that is really significant.
I think that sort of social map, that pre-existing social map that we have
Yeah,
is great, is
yeah,
a huge benefit of being part of this type of organization.
It's funny, I was out, this was many years ago. Oh my gosh, this was oh, how long ago? 18 years ago, something, maybe 20 years ago. I was on a photo shoot and for a catalog photo shoot in November in Phoenix. And we were done for the day. And I looked up the local group. It's like, oh, they're having a practice. The local SCA group, they're having a
Yeah.
practice. So I drove out to the practice, and it was in a field. It was they were having melee practice, and I went up to the sign-in desk, and I introduced myself, and there was no question. There wasn't a, oh, really? Show me an ID. There wasn't a, it was
Right.
like, and which is really, I said who I was and in the organization. And it was immediately, oh, terrific. It's great you're here. Do you want to? And I introduced to people, and it was, I found that really interesting because we've certainly known people who introduce themselves as having rank accomplishments that they did not have, and it became clear very
Yeah.
quickly. But then
It's pretty rare.
it is pretty rare that people do that. I've certainly encountered it, but there was no question. It was, and yeah, I had to hold my tongue because I so wanted to help them with their uh,
Right.
with some of the technical aspects of their melee fighting, which was mostly consisted of the there they are, let's go get them strategy, which we've
Right.
discussed
Right.
before, which is not so much of a strategy as wishful thinking. So, but really nice people, very, very welcoming. So I, I don't know. The celebrations of the, it's not bicentennial, it's not sesquicentennial. I don't know what the term is. I'll have to look it up for the 250th
Oh.
anniversary
Hmm.
uh, of the country, but it's well, people they call it the birthday of the country, but it's I'm it's a milestone, but it's one I'm not. It's one I'm leery of what the
Yeah.
celebration is going to be, given the reaction to, and I specifically, I did not watch the Super Bowl. I didn't watch the entertainment for years. I sat down to watch the Super Bowl with a notepad, watching the commercials, recording, taking copious notes on every bit of product placement, naming rights, advertising, all of that, because I'd be teaching about it or I'd be writing about it or speaking on television or radio about it. I wasn't doing any of that this year, and we played D&D instead. and, and didn't didn't watch, but the from what I've observed, read, seen clips of, and heard about, the halftime show was about celebration and joy and
Well,
welcoming and
there was also a
positive.
little there was also a little bit of, you know, the struggle of Puerto Rico's
Yeah,
history
yeah.
was part
But
of it.
yeah, but it was, yes, there was some struggle in there, but generally a positive kind of
Well, certainly the
message
overcoming of that
of
struggle
that.
was
Yes.
part of the story,
Yes. The counter programming was,
which is the kind of the first time that anybody set out had the chutzpah to say, don't watch the most popular 3 hours of television every year. Don't watch that. Watch us instead.
Yeah.
Or at least tune out for the halftime show
Yeah.
and watch this other more American thing.
Yeah. Which is fascinating because Puerto Rico is
Is America.
America. And there have been so many entertainers at, and notice I use the word entertainer, not artists, but anyway,
Okay.
so many entertainers performing at the Super Bowl halftime who've not been U.S. citizens.
Right.
And it hasn't raised any kind of hubbub, furor, backlash.
Well, no, we haven't needed there there are those who haven't needed the distraction
Right.
of this kind of manufactured outrage before.
Well, manufactured outrage is, I think, could be a subject for another episode
Sure.
because this, I remember an episode of the very first episode of The West Wing.
Mm.
Great series, brilliantly written, when the chief of staff is talking to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. And chief of staff is white, chairman of the Chiefs is black, played by John Amos, great actor. And he says to him, "Hey, do you think there's a problem if the president's aide, they call him body man, the president's aide who, make sure he's
Checks
like
his
his
suit.
personal assistant, right?
Yeah.
If he's a black man, do you think there'll be a problem with that?" And the general chairman says, "You gonna treat him right? You gonna pay him a fair wage? You gonna, is it gonna have?" Said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "I got real problems to worry about. I don't have time to worry about optics, you know."
Right.
And so I think it was the absolute opposite of manufactured outrage. But
Right.
when President Obama wore a tan suit,
I know what I know. What a scandal.
absolute scandal, a tan suit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It let's not go off on this because we
Yeah,
could.
okay, okay. We'll do that another time.
Right.
Go
So
off on
we're
it.
we're
Let's
also
manufacture some of our own outrage.
uh mine comes to me so easily. I don't it's no work at all actually.
No manufacturing. It's just
No, no.
okay.
Uh that's another milestone though that all of this is surrounding this 60th Super Bowl
Oh yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So that's I mean a significant milestone just if we're because we often count the fives and tens seems to be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
big ones. So
If
but
we
that's a
had if we had six fingers on each hand, we'd probably use a base 12 system.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably.
The very first episode of The Outer Limits, a a scientist takes a Welsh coal miner and puts him in his science chamber thing and accelerates his evolution, and he grows a super cranium brain and
Uh-huh.
a sixth finger in his hand, and then he reverts him. And I thought that was really cool. And you know who played that miner turned
I do not.
David McCallum.
Huh.
David McCallum of Ilya Kurya, who went on to be Ilya Kuryakin and
The man from Uncle.
Dr. Mallard, Ducky
Yes.
on
Ducky Mallard.
NCIS. Yeah. And was in The Great Escape,
Was
the
he?
movie. He
No,
was.
I didn't recall that.
Yeah, he's the one who figured out how to drop the soil down their
Oh,
legs
okay.
to, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Huh.
And he was in an absolutely terrible, short-lived series where they were like, it's so bad. I'm not even sure
No, I
what.
know the one you're talking about, where he
The,
and this blonde female partner
yeah, who was um,
didn't go on. Didn't she go on to be in Absolutely Fabulous?
yes, yes,
Same actress, yeah.
and she also was in the revival of the Avengers, playing when it was Steed
Oh,
and two sidekicks, and she was Purdy, the
oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Joan,
Joanna
Joanna,
Lumley.
Joanna Lumley. Yes,
Yep,
indeed.
yep.
Yeah, I know the series you're talking about. I stumbled upon it on
Oh, terrible,
Netflix or Amazon or
terrible,
something, and
terrible.
it was impenetrable. That's what is the way I put it.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what was going on, and they weren't trying to explain it.
Um, yeah.
I
So
I just remember a lot of Therium. Is that the word I want?
theremin,
Theremin
theremin.
music in it.
Yeah.
Ooh, 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 ooh. It was awful.
We should do a whole episode of a dueling theremins. We each get a theremin and do. Um,
Well, I but we can't make one because Radio Shack is out of business now.
oh, that's true. Um, so I think the I'm not sure I have a lot more to say about this other than that I think it's important to take note of milestones, but that they don't have to be big things. They can be small things. They can be, it's
Well,
possible to notice things every day that are significant. Um, but I, there's a, in the Middle Ages, if, and going back further, if something happened, an accident, an incident, and they needed witnesses, they'd go up, the noble, the highest ranking person, whatever, would go up to a witness there and slap them on the face so that they would remember, because the physical shock of being slapped there's actually a effect of it lodging
hmm
things in your memory. And experienced
we've
the
talked about
buffet, right?
hmm
And with knighthood. Um, um, but the I think that being aware of things every day that are happening without needing to get smacked in the face to to remember it
Although
is,
there are times when I think somebody should get slapped in the face just so they remember a moment.
oh, yeah, watching coverage of congressional hearing, there were a lot of people who brought to mind the German word Backpfeifengesicht, a face deserving of a punch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were so many examples of that.
There's something I've seen recently in my it's an ad for something on Facebook where uh because Valentine's Day is coming up and the romantic um
I'm all
gift
ready. I got
you're all set?
all six food groups.
Okay. All
Two
right.
thing, two things to eat, two things to smell, two things to wear. So there's chocolate and champagne, there's flowers and perfume, and there's jewelry and lingerie. And every year she gets all six.
Well, it's great.
The six food groups of Valentine's Day. Could
Well, three
also do,
food groups.
well,
Three
yeah,
groups,
three
you're
group. Yeah,
doubling up.
nah, yeah, yeah. Okay, don't quibble.
Uh,
It's my
I'm
shtick. So,
okay, sure. But I what I thought was an interesting romantic milestone that and it's I don't even remember what the product was, but it's to mark you give this to someone to mark my last first date.
Oh,
I thought that was an interesting
yeah.
way to look at something when you look back on a relationship,
Hmm.
and that my first date with you was my last first date.
Yeah.
I Because the rest of my life will be with you. I thought that was a very romantic,
Yeah.
sort of a milestone, if you will. That, and I think it was either like a stained glass window thing or a pendant medallion sort of thing that marked where the date was. It was a little section of a map,
Hmm.
streets of it, and but I thought that that was an interesting romantic thing. This I remember my last first date
Yeah.
with you.
Mm. I proposed on my birthday, so I always remember what the date was when I proposed. So,
I don't remember the proposal date. I remember exactly, but I remember the proposal
mhm.
because I made quite a spectacle of it.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah.
But it worked.
I thought the skydivers were a little over the top. The brass band, though, that was perfect.
Well, and lucky because if it hadn't gone, if I hadn't gotten a yes, the brass band was just supposed to slip away quietly, and they don't give their deposits back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm glad they did. The juggling clowns was a bit of a surprise, but it worked actually.
Well,
The mimes, mimes are
that was
kind of hit and miss.
I got a discount on the mimes with the juggling clowns, so I
Oh,
thought,
okay,
what the heck?
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Good. It's good the torch. I thought the torches were going to set the the parachutes of the parachuters on fire for a second, but
There
it
was in
didn't.
fact some conflict between the parachuters and the Blue Angels that were
Oh
doing an
yeah, yeah,
overflight
yeah,
at the same time. Yeah, that was really really tricky to work out.
yeah, yeah. They had to do a barrel roll to avoid, to
Yeah, yeah.
thread the
But in the
needle
end,
between it.
I thought the effect was nice,
It
having
was. It
smoke
was.
trailing between the yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it didn't obscure the fireworks because the timing worked out. So
Right, right.
yeah. So nicely done.
Thank you. It
You're
was
welcome.
that was an amazing bit of improv for all of you out
Yeah,
there. I
yeah. It was
didn't.
yes and. Um, so I think milestones, good to take note of, when they're happening, good to remember things, good to reach out to people you shared those things with. Um, yeah.
Well, and
So
I think you were making a good point that it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be to, being mindful of a moment. You don't have to remember it for 20 years, but being in a moment and recognizing that this is important in a small way. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
it could that it recognizing that you're having a feeling about a thing because and it's something like a flock of birds flying overhead at a particular moment, or the the taste of something while
yeah,
you are thinking about something in
yeah.
particular.
The it's mindfulness, uh,
Yeah,
which is
right.
often overused, but and I'll give you an example. Um, so this was so it's had to be it's probably about between um 11 and 14 years ago. About 11, about 12 years ago. I was teaching a class in Atlanta, teaching a design class, and I wanted the students to develop a poster for a campaign for a cause, for some
Hmm.
kind of awareness for a cause that they cared about. I wanted it to be something that they cared about. The because the challenge is when you care about something a lot, Can you separate how much you care about it from your professional
Mm.
design skill and apply your design skill, separating your emotion from it? So that was baked into the challenge.
Yeah, sure.
So I said, so, but one of the things that you would do is in a actual work situation is you discuss your ideas. You talk about your ideas and what you want to do with your group of your peers, your fellow designers, and they'll suggest things and ask you questions. So let's do that. Tell the class what you want to do this thing about. I'd given them some time to think about it. And it was one of the most supportive, positive, engaging discussions that I'd ever been part of, because there were students, wildly diverse group of students. So one who wanted to do a campaign um, for for marriage equality, one because that wasn't everywhere. One who wanted to do an anti-pornography thing. One who wanted to do something for their church. One who wanted to do something for some. I mean, it was just all over the place
Hmm.
with stuff. Pro marijuana legalization, anti-drug. It was just absolutely contrary things. But everybody in the class, all the students, were supportive and helpful, even if they disagreed. They would offer suggestions for what the messaging should be, what the imagery should be. It was, and that was a milestone for me. I
Hmm.
remember, I mean, I don't know if it was for the, I think it was for the students. I still hear from former students. That was a significant moment, and I remember that. And I felt so present in
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
moment. So that was a great teaching moment. Great teaching moments. That's when you see the light go on in a
Uh-huh.
student's eyes, and you've had that experience with
Hmm.
people you've taught. That's a milestone, and that's one of the best. So
Yeah, the that when you see them do the thing you told them to do and it works,
yeah,
and they turn to you like, did you see that? And then you can give them the
yeah,
sage nod of, well, I told you.
yeah, yeah, yes. So okay,
All right.
well, congratulations again,
Thank you.
and thank you, everybody. Experience your own milestones. Pay attention.
Pay
Write them
attention.
down.
That's good advice.
Yeah, write them down. Be present. Take notes. Like, share, follow. Tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about. Ask questions. And until we see you next time, be thou
A good night.
and true.